Welcome back, everybody, to me talking again. Sort of. Weekly update, navel-gazing, that kind of thing. Let's do it, shall we? Well, cheers. Alright, as you may have noticed, I didn't put up any videos last week. And so today we're going to talk about why that is the case, and then I'll tell you what I read and what I'm reading today and where this all will be going in the next week, I hope. Alright, so yes, I planned a lot of videos and stuff and then I didn't do them. There's a bunch of reasons for that. First of all, I just couldn't concentrate on a lot of things. I wasn't really feeling that well last week, and I'm still trying to, get my life back into order, which is pretty fucking hard, if I say so myself. And that's basically the main reason. I had a bunch of ideas that I said last week, and they're gonna come in, hopefully this week, I guess. That I really want to talk about at some point. So what did I read? I read the rest of the Broken Empire trilogy with, King of Thorns and Emperor of Thorns. And, yeah, they're not too good. I mean, so I have thoughts and words on them. I need to figure out how to, formulate them, because I don't do reviews, as you may know. So I need to come up with an actual thesis on why I think these books are not that good or whatever. So I'm trying to structure that in my brain so I can then switch on the camera and forget all about the structure, as I am wont to do. But that's something that I read last week, so that's neat. And I did read other things. So I went back and started rereading Orientalism by Edward Said, and I'm going to make a video on Orientalism and fantasy literature. It's an ongoing project. I really want to talk about that with, maybe the reread thing that I'm going to do of The First Law, which I'll talk about in a second. Definitely with The Wheel of Time. There is other fantasy that I can put into that as well. I just feel it's an important thing to talk about, because I don't know if we have, I haven't checked too deeply, but I don't think I have seen too many booktube videos on it, or good articles on the idea of how Orientalism in fantasy and epic fantasy is something of an issue. There's a bunch of academic papers on it, I know. But, I mean, this is not academia, so maybe it's time for me to talk about that. It's certainly a project. So, yeah, so I'm rereading Orientalism by Edward Said, which, so I have a better basis when I'm going to, slam people for their books and tastes and whatnot, right? So there's that. And then I found out yesterday, because I'm, not checking up on things a lot, I found out that there is a new China Mieville book out, A Spectre Haunting Europe, which is a non-fiction book of China Mieville going on and talking about the Communist Manifesto. And those who know me will understand why I had to actually drop my last Audible credit for the month on this and, well, read it immediately, which I did. So yeah, A Spectre Haunting Europe by China Mieville is what I read yesterday. It's a short book. It's easy to do in 1 or 2 days. I'm not sure if I should make a video on it. Let me know in the comments if you feel like that's something I should talk about. Or not. I would definitely recommend you go and read it, though. If you're interested in the Communist Manifesto and communism or whatever, go read it. It's a good book. So there's that. And then I returned to Orientalism again. And then today, finally, and this is another reason why I didn't do anything last week, today, finally, a version by Alistair Reynolds was published in audio, because it was supposed to come out last week, and then it got delayed day by day by Audible, and a couple of hours ago the pre-order finally arrived in my inbox, and I have downloaded it, and I will certainly get to reading it as fast as possible, and then I'll talk all about it, because it's Alistair Reynolds and I kind of like his books, and so that's something that I'll definitely do today, and you will see a video about this probably tomorrow or very soon. After that, I don't know what I'll read next, so I'm still looking at grimdark fantasy things, and if you have suggestions of other grimdark fantasy that I should maybe go and read, drop your favorite, what you consider grimdark, or other people consider grimdark. Put them in the comments. I do have I have a deeper suspicion on something very specific there that both the First Law does, and that the Prince of Thorns, like the Broken Empire trilogy does, and I wanna make like a video on that, why I think it's a problem. But I would consider adding another one or two or three grimdark books in there that might support my thesis, or actually argue in the opposite direction. We will see. So that's certainly something. I mean, there's a good chance that I've read those books that are considered grimdark before, because I've read some of the grittier and darker fantasy. So yeah, that's certainly something. The First Law, yes, I'm doing like a buddy read thing with Ola, the Wild Witch. You should go and subscribe to her. I'll put it down in the links in the description if I remember. And I've read it before, and I did some videos about it last year. But as I said, I have like two things, like more generic videos that I want to do. One of them is on Orientalism, and I feel what Abercrombie does with the Gurkish in that book is certainly going in that direction, so having a reread will certainly help me. And as I said, there's another aspect of the First Law trilogy that I feel you have like a similar thing going on in the Broken Empire trilogy, where it goes nowhere at all. But yeah. That I might also, so I'll profit from rereading the First Law trilogy in that regard as well. And, maybe after that I'll actually jump into a reread of those standalones, and then actually work my way up to the Age of Madness trilogy, which I haven't read yet. I only read the first trilogy and those 3 standalones. So maybe this is the beginning of something wonderful and glorious. I doubt it. So those are sort of reading plans for the next couple of days, I guess. Yeah, we didn't do any like discussion or anything on the Black Company yet, because, as I said, like the last week was kind of weird. So yeah, there's that. I also want to do like a video on, well, the positive aspects of Wheel of Time, which I have forgotten to make yet, or haven't found like the motivation to do yet. So that's certainly coming in the next couple of days, hopefully. And I want to talk about the anti-hero, or like what some people call a morally grey character in grim, like in the darker side of fantasy, or in general. I want to talk about that. I have some suspicions on why they are the way they are, and where that is going, and I just need to have like a full-on concept on how to do that, to actually get there. But I do already have like a working title for the video, so there's that. We will see. It does involve the word dickhead, though, because, So now you know all my plans that I will probably not stick to, because I know who I am and I know how I am. So we will see how all of that works. So yeah, plans are finish a version hopefully today. Go back to Orientalism, do the Orientalism video, read some First Law on the side, and find out what I'll do afterwards. I mean, there's still the idea to read some Guy Gavriel Kay, which I still want to do, and there's all kinds of other things in the future, but the future is the future. So, let's have a bit of a chat about like what happened last week, apart from like the videos and reading, and maybe also like one thing about like videos and like why and how I'm making these videos, because I figured that might be interesting, right? So here's the things. I'm not good with reviews. I don't want to make reviews. I've said that before. So rather, when I'm trying to make a video that's not just me ranting about what I've read today, like Wheel of Time or whatever, I'll I try to build an argument and have an actual thesis or something that I want to show within the video. And the stronger the thesis, the more fun I have with making that. So I'd rather have like a real hot take and then do some arguing around that than just like, yeah, you know what, grim dark fantasy is both grim and dark. That's not exactly what I want to do, right? I should stop bashing on that grimdark thing. Anyway, so that's sort of why I'm trying to figure out how to make these videos, because I have these kernels of ideas in my brain, and then I just need to talk, think, read about it with other people in Discord, or on Discord, or friends in like real life, which do exist sometimes, until like I've reached that point where I'm like, yes, now I can make this argument that this is the structure that I want. It has to sort of click on an intuitive level for me, and then I can make the video. Yeah, which is why I haven't yet talked about the Broken Empire trilogy, because I need to actually get this all sorted into something of an argument. And I've read a very, very long article about only Prince of Thorns that I'll probably link when I do the video on Broken Empire. It's really long, and it has some very serious criticism of that first book, of the treatment of like race and gender in that book, and some other aspects. And now I'm trying to, which was probably a mistake to read that, but you know, now I'm trying to make my argument different than that one, because I don't want to just repeat what someone else has written already in 2012, because you don't need me to repeat 10-year-old arguments. So that's sort of where the Prince of Thorns, King of Thorns, Emperor of Thorns video is currently standing, is me trying to actually wrap my head around like an actual working argument of where I want to go with this and why I think it's not a good book. Despite having wonderful prose and some other really cool elements. So there's that part. The same with the Orientalism. I'm more like, I want to have my facts straight before I go into this, because it's, you know, it's bordering on academia and some political aspects to it, because, you know, Orientalism, especially when you look at it like Said does, is part of post-colonialism or post-colonial studies, and those are inherently political. So I want to make sure that I get my things sort of, my basis sort of covered, so I can, you know, make this argument the way that I want to make it. And the same, no, the one with the morally grey characters is more like something that I want to talk about. And I have like a wild thesis there, and I have like a more basic thesis, and I just need to figure out how to actually put those together. It's also slightly political. That it seems like this channel is becoming more and more political, whether I want to or not, because, you know, I'm a political person, and the more I put like generic stuff in here, or general stuff in here that is not focused on one specific book, the more this will probably come through. And I hope you're fine with that. It's like I've never, you know, hidden my personal political beliefs or anything like that, but I don't want to make this into like me preaching communism to you kind of channel, because that's not exactly what I believe in particular as well, but I'm certainly further left than some other people, I guess. So that's that. I'll probably make like a more straight up almost review, or just like why you all should read in whatever video on Eversion. I just love Alistair Reynolds' books, and I'm excited to see what he does here, because it looks cool. It does look gothic horror. There's airships and all kinds of other stuff. That's cool. So there we are with those videos. Now let's look at what happened last week, where I'm at like mentally, and where I will be this week, because times are changing and strange and all of that. So, I mean, I've hinted at the fact that I've struggled with all kinds of mental health issues for the last months. I mean, it's been not a big secret, right? And what happened over the last like half year, I guess, more or less, is that a lot of stuff has piled up. There were like setbacks that were really not my fault, and then there's stuff where I could have, you know, done better if I had kept up with things. And I've let like a lot of stuff I let it lie and pile up to enormous amounts. And So what happened last weekend was, or like last week, was that I decided to, yes, I will take a break with the record label, sort my shit out, and I said that before, right? And sort my shit out and make these, get everything back in order, sort through all the open messages, read my actual printed mail and stuff, deal with all of that stuff, so I can actually focus more on the things that need doing immediately and do the good things, because it's very much about respecting like the fans and the bands and everyone. I'm not capable of doing that if my brain is already under this huge pile of stuff. So that's something that I started looking at last week. The other bit there is, of course, that not doing the record label thing, like having no new releases until September or October, which is when it will be, in fact, means that I need to figure out how to survive until then, because, it's life costs money. And while I am privileged and don't need that much money, I do still need some money, and having a bit more of that would certainly make dealing with some of those problems easier, because let's face it, there's bills I should have paid like months ago that have piled up and stuff, and that's part of what I found out while going through my shit over the last week, that I do need to figure out how to get more money. So I'm trying to find out what kind of job I can actually do for a while, because I'm currently not mentally capable of doing like a 9-to-5 job, and I don't really want to do one, because I want this to be something on, for the short term, until like the record label stuff is back up to a level where I can, focus on everything. So that's not an option really. And the other part is like a lot of these like short term, like, stocking shelves in a supermarket, going and working at a bar. They are not easily done when you're blind, so a lot of these options, your typical student jobs, are not really available for me either. So I'm like, I don't know what to do, but I need some sort of like side job that I can do until, say, for a couple of months, maybe a bit longer, if it's not taking too much time, that will bring me like a couple €100 per month. That will be perfect. But finding something like that's not easy, and I think part of that is me being sort of stuck in my very specific mental corner, I guess, in a weird place where I just like, I've like backed myself into a corner and don't see all the opportunities that are out there, I guess. But yeah, so if you have any ideas what I could do to earn a little side money to survive until summer is over, let me know. I'm willing to do a lot of stuff, as long as it involves, me using mostly the few things that I can do, which is like waffle unendingly about everything, basically. So yeah, there's that. And well, I went hiking on Thursday. That was really cool. So a lot of friends and I did like a 16-kilometer hike with a lot of alcohol, because it's sort of a traditional thing. It was Christ Ascension, which also is Father's Day in Germany. And the tradition calls for all male-presenting humans over the age of 15 to gather in annoying groups, ideally with Bluetooth speakers so they can annoy the environment as well, and drink copious amounts of alcohol, and all of these things. So even if you're not a father or never planning to be one, it's but like, we've done this for a couple of years with friends, and there's actual parents in there, so there's actual fathers in there, and we're not limiting ourselves to male presenting people, so there's that as well. So we just go hiking with a lot of alcohol and some punk rock and heavy metal music, and have a bit of a barbecue somewhere in the woods. Cool stuff. And it felt really nice to go out and do that after like ages again, do something physical in the actual world out there that does not involve sitting until like 4 a.m. at a train station, which, yeah, felt really cool. And I enjoyed that a lot, but it certainly did not help, my productivity and reading, because it basically meant that I didn't read anything on Thursday. So there's that. And then I wanted to go to a concert yesterday, and I didn't go to like the Punk and Drublic show in Mannheim, because I didn't feel like mentally able to just deal with that, go all alone to like a big festival, like not that big, but and then spend do another like night trip and everything. I just didn't feel up to it, so instead I looked at all those letters and found out that unless I can fix some stuff, I will have to pay a huge amount of back money because I forgot to fill out a form or ignored filling out a form about my income like years ago, and now my city wants money from me, so I'll try to fix that in the coming days, because otherwise I have problems, like real problems. But yeah, so that's sort of like the background of like why I didn't do much last week. I just really, all that pressure kind of prevented me from actually concentrating on stuff, and the procrastination was hard, but not in the I can read books stuff, and it gave me some like stress-induced migraines and shit, and it was not a good week, basically, except like the hiking thing. That was really cool. And meeting with an old friend I hadn't seen for like 2 years for like a couple of beers. That was also cool. So yeah, there's that. And of course, there was a doom metal concert after the hiking in the evening. I went to see Thronehammer, which was really cool, and I hope to see them again very soon because really nice people, cool band. All right, so this week, more reading, actually getting stuff done, calling different authorities to figure out stuff to actually get my things back in order, maybe actually finding a way to actually earn some money on the side, and then on the weekend, I will go to Rock Hard Festival in Gelsenkirchen, Germany. So if any of you are there, for whatever reasons, even only for one day, and you want to hang out for a beer or two, let me know. We can certainly do that and have a couple of beers and talk or about whatever. I'm a very talkative person, as you may have noticed. So there's that. And that goes from Friday until Sunday. And we will see if I can record videos in advance or anything. If I can, I'm not sure if there's like any demand for me taking a camera with me to the festival and doing some video stuff there. I don't know. Let me know if you want to see anything from that. I mean, it is a GoPro that I'm using for recording, so I can totally do that. And we will see. And the week after that, I'll go to Athens. So in case you're in Athens, let me know. We can have beers in Athens. But, So that's like a general thing that I need to figure out. It's like how to do content, like do videos and stuff over the summer now that like festivals are back in force. So that's something we'll figure out together in the coming days. But now, I really got to go back and read Eversion because I really want to. And there will be videos. More of them, I promise. I'll see you around. Cheers.